Howdy, folks. It's not Jay and McMurray. And we are looking at episode 94. Buddy, it's
Yeah,
cold outside.
accurate. Can
And
confirm.
yeah, it's actually today wasn't bad. It got up to 52 here in west central Illinois. But it was kind of overcast all day, so the 52 wasn't. It was definitely a cold 52. So, not a fan personally. Not a fan. Anyway, before we dive into the topic of the night, I've got a couple things I want to touch on. The first thing is Wiley's done it again. I guess the Baroness has decided perfect time to put out another sale, 15% off of everything in the store. I don't know if that's 15% off of the bundles. Normally the bundles aren't on sale, but when she says 15% off of everything, it will sometimes include the bundles. So be that as it may, I have been flogging Fistful of Lead relentlessly on Reddit in the different war game groups. Everybody's asking, what game system do you use for narrative gameplay? Mordheim or Frostgrave, or like no, none of
Wrong
that.
answer.
No, wrong answer. You want to play Fistful of Lead, and in fact, today I pointed out to a guy, I was like, no, Fistful of Lead Fantasy is what you want to go with. Only $10 for each of the three books. Gets you the PDF, and you don't have to dick around with points or anything like that. And he comes back and goes, "Well, I really like the building of the list building." Like, oh man, are you going to love Fistful of Lead then? Because you literally have dozens of traits that you can give to your characters, and you can make each character completely the way you want to create it. In fact, nothing says you can't create your own trait if you can't find the trait that exactly fits the way you want it to play.
Done it many times before. It's fantastically fun.
Yeah. So and I know I'm preaching to the choir with this group. You guys all love Fistful, and if you don't, you at least humor me. So, but I've hitched my wagon to the Wiley Games bus, and I'm going for the ride. But 15% off everything in the store. Can't beat it. Now, if you haven't got it yet, now's the time to get it. And Charles says it himself. Not Jay and Fistful of Lead made me the miniatures gamer that I am today.
Bam. There you go.
You cannot have a better what's the word I'm looking for here, McMurray?
Do all.
Yeah. You can't
Do
have a better
everything.
do all.
There's not many more utilitarian rule sets.
No. It's great.
Frameworks.
It's great. It's amazing. Another thing I want to mention, which I'll be mentioning every time between now and the end of March, is March to Victory. If you're going to be or can be in the Kansas City metropolitan area the last weekend of March, you know where you want to be, you know where you need to be, you know where you have to be. And that's at the Blue Springs American Legion Hall, playing games at Fistful of Lead.
March to Victory is so awesome.
For a first year convention last year in 2022, or this year I should say in 2022, it was it exceeded every single one of my expectations. The game, well, I knew the games were going to be great anyway because Jay Wiley and Robin won't have a bad game in their presence. It won't happen. They won't let it happen. So I knew the games were going to be great. What I didn't truly expect was how good the food was going to be. The food, we're not talking just hot dogs and crappy pre-popped popcorn. I'm talking the pulled pulled pork or brisket nachos. Oh, fabulous. The beans. I mean, they're called beans, and yes, there's beans in that bowl, but easily 33 to 50% of the material in that bowl was brisket. So calling them beans is a disservice to the dish that was the beans and brisket in a bowl.
That being said, if you're like me and you like eating like traditional wargaming convention food, they do have foot-long hot dogs, which were
yes,
also
they do.
outstanding.
But and again, it's a good foot-long hot dog. It's not it's not something that's been just slapped into a cooker for 30 seconds. So yeah, come check it out. Oh, and the silent auction was amazing,
mind-boggling, to be honest with you.
It was great. First off, it was probably the best one that I've ever seen run.
It was run exceedingly well, which is outstanding. There was a little bit of improv there that speaks to the organizers.
Yeah.
But dude, honestly, the bigger thing than how it was run was, holy shit, there was and I realized that I have a problem, right? Because I play way too much stuff. But the deals there were insane. People came up and were just I think there was a dude who had probably 10 lots of Miniature Building Authority pre-painted buildings.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think a single one of them sold for more than $40, $50. The guy literally legitimately brought probably $4 or $5 grand worth of buildings. I think he walked out of there with $400, which I don't think he was sore about, or at least not talking to him.
He probably wanted to just get rid of it out of his basement or his closet. He wasn't.
He 110% did. But my point is that holy shit, the deals are incredible.
The quality of the product there was amazing. And it went everything from homemade jungle trees that Reese got a hold of, all the way up to, like you said, the pre-painted
Miniature Building Authority stuff.
Yeah.
Hell, I got a completely painted and essentially, well, not completely painted, but damn near completely painted and essentially done, including magnets, resin, 28 millimeter Rourke's Drift.
There you go.
That was
because you have a problem.
I think I paid $30 for it too. No, that I actually have fully painted miniatures for and everything else. I do have that in 2 scales, but that's not the point. The dumb thing is I intended to play it at 1-to-1 in 2 different scales too, because I have a problem. That's fair.
So Original Grognard's in the house giving us a thumbs up.
What's up, Dev?
E4 Airman says hi all. Hey E4 buddy, how you doing? Cindy Diaz says hi. Walkabout Game says I walk into the room to hear Footlong Wiener.
Oh, absolutely.
You heard it here first, and you'll hear it here often.
You know it, bud. You know it, bud.
And then I believe he's talking about, he's saying damn about the steals of deals that you're getting at March to Victory silent auction.
I would assume so.
Not to mention there's also a good handful of dealers other than just Wiley Games. Obviously, Wiley Games is there with all of their wares. And Robin said that she did, how did she put it? She did as good, if not better, at March to Victory than the last time they went to Recruits.
That makes sense, though, because there's basically a room half filled with games that are like, hey, what game is this? That one right over there.
Yeah. Of course, that's the way it was at this year's recruits also.
I was about to say, that being said, I think there were actually probably more fistful of lead games at recruits this year, just by the numbers, than there were at March to Victory, which is entertaining, but
sure. Well, we were, and I say we because I was part of the team for one of the games this year. We were 25% of all games presented at recruits this year.
Dog, we were 25% of the games that were in the program. We were far closer to 50% of the games that actually showed up and were actually played.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we can only make March to Victory better, and it will get better. Everything we learned last year is going into this year, and it's going to be spectacular. I have a feeling it's not going to be drastically bigger. I don't think. I could be wrong. We could be busting at the seams this year. It
was not lightly attended last year for the event size and everything else.
I think Jay said 120.
But I mean there were people playing every game.
Yeah,
I feel like, or at least almost.
There was at least 2 people at every table.
Yeah, I mean I know that
we got Toddley.
Is he in? Oh, hey, what's up, buddy?
Gentlemen.
No, Todd.
McMurray.
Todd.
Hey,
Yes.
Todd.
I was about to say, I know that I was originally only intending to run the 28 millimeter airships game during one session, and wound up running it filled with 5 players each time in 3 sessions.
Yep.
It was
plus your Let's Eat Hitler.
Yeah, I did. We did play Eat Hitler. We got that in twice, but that wasn't during a listed game session. That was kind of during the dinner break. That being said, we did play that 2 times. People had a great time playing that. That was super fun. I enjoyed that quite a bit. At some point in time, Toddley and I will play that. Eating dino nuggies. Is my phone like pausing on its own, or Todd, are you doing something silly?
No, he's just sitting there.
Oh, my phone's tossing up the little 2 bars like a pause sign.
No.
The hell does that mean?
Who knows? So Todd.
Yeah.
Barring your company making you go someplace weird, like Austin, you're going to be at March to Victory this year, right? Or next year?
When is it?
Yes. Last weekend of March.
I thought it was. Wait, is it the weekend of the 30th or the weekend of the 22nd, 23rd?
Well, let me find out.
I hope it's the weekend of the 30th. That would be awesome.
The 24th, 25th, and 26th is the last weekend.
Oh, well, I'm screwed then.
Yeah, because you got that. Yeah, it's the 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Okay.
Last full weekend of March.
It is currently in my calendar.
Outstanding. Well, if we can't have a McMurray tier, we can have a wardrobe.
Wardrobe's more fun anyhow.
No,
I don't know about that.
No,
I'm kind of a square.
Aren't we all? That being said, right now, if you go to marchtovictory.net, and I can do this real quick. We go to marchtovictory.net, and you go to shop. You can get your admission ticket for $17 instead of the $20.
That's the other thing. You're paying $20 for 2.5, 2 full days of gaming. You got 2 sessions Friday night, some random stuff on Sunday morning, and then 3 or 4 sessions on Saturday. That's
Yep.
That's a good day.
The only convention that's cheaper is recruits. And that's only because they get the high school basketball court for free.
Yeah. That's hard to compete against. That's unfair.
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting it for 17. If you don't prepay for your ticket, it's $20 at the door. You come in, put that $20 down there. my wife will then hand you a name tag for you to write your name in. Boom, Bob's your uncle. If you do prepay, if you do spend the $17, first off, you're getting in for $3 cheaper, and you can use that $3 for what? Yes, that's right. You can use that $3 for your raffle ticket that you're going to buy.
Accurate.
And then you're also going to get your name badge already printed for you. So all you got to do is walk in like a stud and say, "Hey, this is not Jay. I'm here. I would like to have my pre-printed name tag, please," because you will be polite to that woman, or she will kick your ass. She raised 5 kids, plus she deals with my bullshit all the time. So
sounds like an impressive resume.
She'll do it. Oh, and by the way, 3 of those 5 kids were triplet girls. So
Jesus Christ, Donna had triplet daughters.
Yeah. And I still married her at the age when the girls were 15. I taught them how to drive in the snow.
Well, no one ever did say you were smart.
No. Well, the smartest thing I ever did do was marry her.
Well, that's fair.
So, but yeah, you're going to hear me talk about March of Victory a lot, to the point where you're going to be like, Jesus, really? Or you're going to actually show up eventually, and we're all going to have fun together. Because that's what it's all about.
Reese showed up. We had a great time. Bunkhouse showed up.
Yeah. So, good times. Oh, also, if you prepay, you're going to get a exclusive March to Victory miniature.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yep.
What?
I don't know what it is. It may be the Baron. Not your Baron.
My own butt naked Baron.
Well, this one isn't a butt naked Baron. This is a fully clothed Baron with, well, the one I saw has got the Meerschaum pipe and everything.
Yes.
But that might not be the one. I don't know. I've seen that one. That might be it. It might not. I don't know. I just know that there's going to be one. So. So the other thing, the last thing I want to bring up is some of the bigger names in the gaming social media scene have taken it upon themselves to create and join a new social media community over on Mastodon. And I'm gonna drop a link in here. The nice thing, it's very similar to Facebook. It's very similar to Twitter. It's very similar to all the different types of social medias. But it is strictly gaming. Nothing else on there. Some of the rules are, and these are not verbatim, but some of the rules are don't be a dick and no politics talking.
Todd is the king of Mastodon. That's the only politics you're allowed to talk about.
Right, exactly. Anyway, so there's the link. I also linked it in my on the Discord channel in general. Go check it out. There's quite a few that's over there. Ardwolf is over there. Hexy is over there. I'm over there, obviously. Go check it out. It's only been about 2.5, 3 weeks, and there's already over 200 members. So it could very well be the new place to go to talk gaming. And it's not just board gaming. A lot of the guys are just board gamers, but hey, I'm throwing my miniature stuff up there, and they're liking it. They're not, they're not hollering at me and saying I'm a horrible person. So, hey, if you're a board gamer, definitely head over there. You're going to see some of the big names that you're used to here on YouTube. And if you're a miniature gamer, go on over there. You'll at least see me. And, you can always add yourself in there as well. Now, there is an ulterior motive to me bringing this up, beside it, being cool and, like gaming focused social media. But I'm now in a drawing for on 11 a.m. Central Time on Friday. The guy who runs the joint is doing a drawing where I could potentially, if my name is drawn, win a board game of some nature, including Advanced Squad Leader, Todd.
Oh, wow.
So, who knows? Maybe,
Who knows?
maybe not. As soon as Todd showed up, Walkabout Games gives us a robe. And then Charles says Todd.
What's up, man?
And Chris Long also says, God, that's cheap. Yeah, it is. Talking about getting into March to Victory. And then he also says, McMurray, so many ships to paint now.
Yeah, man, I got all jealous, and I found SPLs for most of the ships that were at Jutland that were already in 1 to 5,000 or so, 6,000 or so on Thingiverse. The issue is I tried to, I got this new 3D printer, right, and I had to update my Chitta box to support the Saturn S. And then when I switched back to the Mars 2 Pro, I was making CTB files, right, like I used to. And then I tried to take it upstairs and start printing these things. And it said file type not supported. So I don't know what the hell's going on between. I don't know. So I got to figure that out. But yeah, man. That, or if I can finally get that damn Saturn S dialed in where I need it, then I'm pretty sure I could probably just print all of it out on one build plate, because all the battleships, battle cruisers, and armored cruisers at Jutland only take up 3 build plates of that Mars 2 Pro.
Because it's massive.
No. That's the smaller one. That Saturn S should hopefully be able to handle all of it if I can get it dialed in. I'm having trouble with a few things, but yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're going to be able to fit like everything all at once.
Yes, I should be able to.
On the Saturn, because it's massive.
Yeah.
So I've got to re-level my my build plate on my Mars.
Yep.
He says it needs a firmware update. Chris Long says it needs a firmware update.
Great. Awesome. Balls. Okay.
Yeah, I've got to do a firmware update because I printed some of these here, some flight stands.
Yes.
And one of them, it turned out like this.
Oh, that's interesting.
Kind of wonky there. Yeah.
Just weird on the bottom?
Yeah, just on the bottom. It's weird. Really weird. Scalar Gremlin says just checked flight Seattle to St. Louis is like $800 right now unless something changes. Dude, check Southwest. I know it's cattle car air, but
Doug, check Spirit. If Southwest is a cattle car, then Spirit's like an open flatbed, but whatever.
Right. They ratchet strap your ass down underneath a tarp and you're good to go.
Yeah. It's like if you could find a like an old DC-3 that they then just kind of zip tied a bunch of lawn chairs into.
Right.
But hey, man.
McMurray.
What's new? Hit the cat.
Whoa.
Anyways, that's enough time jokes for tonight. Damn it. But
he says it's on the download page. Just scroll down and pick the printer.
okay,
Chris Slug says. So there you go.
I got you. I'll have to look into that and then have Christopher here, also known as tech support, walk me through that.
There you go. Updating firmware is actually pretty easy.
I would hope so.
Hold on one second, gentle folk.
What you packing up there, wardrobe?
Ardennes 44 and next war Vietnam for Hexy Bedexy.
Oh, for the little wayward fry boy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not on tonight for some reason.
Well, I'm going to reward him with a box.
He got too cool for school all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Probably taking a nap.
probably.
He's taking a nap, dreaming of Brian eating food, and Brian's eating chicken and ice cream, thinking about Jeffrey taking a nap. Sounds about right. If I had to venture a guess as to what our other wayward children are doing.
Oh, well, I can tell you without a doubt what Warmutt's doing.
Yeah,
He's eating tacos.
Yeah, he's eating tacos or chicken, maybe ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
And either thinking about Jeff or Zombicide, possibly both.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely some Zombicide is happening there with his chicken fingers and ice cream mustache. So that's 27 minutes of getting into the business here. So rules and heavy weather, as it were, severe weather, and how different, do games take into account weather? Oh, Reese is here also. Hi, Reese. Welcome, buddy.
What's up, Reese?
Hey, wait a minute. Just real quick. Where's March to Victory?
What do you mean, where's March to Victory?
Where do we hold it? Where's it held?
Oh,
it is
before you showed up, it's in the Kansas City metro area in the Blue Springs American Legion Hall.
So it's not in St. Louis?
No.
So Scala Gremlin, I'm sure the prices aren't different, but you're flying to Kansas City, not St. Louis. So don't go to St. Louis.
Oof, that is correct.
Anyway.
That's what you're saying.
I'm sure the prices are the same, though. Pretty close. It's Kansas City so much closer to Seattle than St. Louis. I figured it'd be another, like $400 off.
At least it's probably only about $25 to get over there.
So,
anyway, sorry. We're saying weather and games.
Yeah, real quick. John Longshore is in the house.
Hey, what's up,
John?
John?
Seen you in a while, man.
Yeah, long time.
Welcome.
No see,
buddy. Glad you're here with us. Good to see you. So yeah. How do rules handle weather? And should they? And the reason I bring this up is Jeff posted something about 3 of y'all going to start playing December 16th. Is that correct? Is that the right date?
something
December
like that.
16th. 3 of y'all are going to start playing various Battle of the Bulge games.
Accurate.
And Battle of the Bulge is definitely weather related. There's definitely weather to contend with in Battle of the Bulge. So I thought to myself, well, how do they account for it? Is it more difficult to play when it's severely cold? Do they make it, if there's heavy rains or there's mud or whatnot, how do different rule sets handle that? And being the novice of board games that I am, I look to Wardrobe. I wish Jeffy was here because he'd definitely have something, to add to it. And I'm sure, McMurray is never shy about presenting his opinions either. So there you go.
Todd, do you want to jump this one first?
So ASL covers it in 4 pages, different weather. Plus, I'm sure they have other special rules.
So it's 4 out of what, 4,000?
I don't know. They don't actually number the pages because it'd be too scary. So out of this book here.
Okay. Yeah. It's a couple hundred.
A couple hundred for sure.
Yeah.
So they cover, it's just basically makes it tough to reveal concealed. It can affect, your gunfire, obviously, spotting. It affects whether you can have smoke or not. Just a variety of modifiers, plus ones, and then you can the winds can change. You roll before every turn for wind and speed. It rarely changes because it's like a really crazy low odds roll, but it can. So they take into account, but that shouldn't be surprising anyone.
Right. I know with, I know in, where am I? World at War 85, they had winter maps.
Yep. Yeah, I guess I'm getting ready to play Nations at War. That'll be my bulge game.
They've got winter maps, and the fields are, what's what I'm looking for here?
What's
The fields go from obscuring to not there at all.
what I was curious about? Oh, there's a special race to Bastogne.
Not there at all.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Mr. Cat.
Hey guys, hold on.
Hey, buddy.
Murray. I got
What's
him.
up? What's up, buddy? On the topic, it seems like a lot of hex and counter games handle it
Hey guys.
a little more actively, handle weather a little more actively than miniatures games do. It seems like in a lot of miniatures games, weather is not as important as nighttime versus daytime, but then due to the kind of narrower scope of most miniature games, which is understandable, you don't get necessarily changing weather as much. It seems usually it's more of a condition that's set for the entire game or the scenario that you're playing, as opposed to weather plays a pretty basic part of a lot of hex and counter games, whether it's determining air or supply or movement or something like that. Obviously, the notable exception in miniatures games is one of my favorites, being anything Age of Sail. Weather obviously has to play a big part, especially the wind. But other than that, I'm trying to think of miniatures games that I can think of that have built-in rules for weather.
Does Rommel have it? Because it zooms out.
I'm trying to think about that. I don't know.
Because I would think the more you zoom out in the game, the more you like overall weather would affect things. Whereas in a tactical scale, they'll just have it'll just be a special rule for a scenario or something. Because
or it'll be like we see in Fistful Out all the time, where a random event will trigger a rainstorm or a dust storm or something like that. That has kind of a finite amount of effect before it either moves on or dissipates or whatnot.
All right. In Rommel,
on
page 70.
If everyone will turn into their Rommel books, page 7, chapter 8, verse
I'm
7.
about to say, I just stood up to go find my Rommel book, but Chris already has it. Dunzo.
Page 7. Yeah, because I've got I've got bookshelves that I'm actually able to put stuff on now because Donna made me clean my room.
Nice.
Mom, get in my room.
Look at me, I'm Chris, and I'm organized and stuff because Donna made me. That's fair.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. Reese makes an interesting point that Nordic Weasel incorporates weather in their 5 core games, which is interesting because it is a little bit lower skirmish scale. I think it's good to have them though.
So weather in Rommel takes up this much of the rules.
There you
Says each scenario should specify the weather conditions for the day. There are 3 possible conditions: clear, overcast, and precipitating, rain or snow. Weather can also be generated randomly by rolling a die after both players have set up their armies. On a roll of 1 to 3, the weather is clear. On a 4+, it's overcast. Clear weather has no effect on the game rules. Overcast weather has the following effects. Events with clear weather only text may not be played. Airborne operations are not possible. In precipitation, the above conditions apply, plus invoking any phase cost and extra OP over and above what it would normally cost. And then it talks about weather change. So being that Rommel is very high level, because I think each unit is like a division.
go.
No?
Each one should be a company.
A company? Okay.
Yeah, each
Well,
stand should represent a company.
Okay, a stand is a company. Well, but you are working.
Yeah.
You're working as a division commander.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes sense that you're going to have weather rules like what Todd was saying. What you got there, Kat?
Race for Bastogne has weather. Again, it's a bulge game, but there's a weather check.
And honestly, that's what generated my interest in this topic is, how do games that concentrate on Battle of the Bulge, how do they deal with the cold? How do they deal with the snow? How do they deal with the fog? Because those were very much issues that both sides had to deal with.
I think, and I haven't played it, although I've kind of sort of read through the rules, that the weather affects your air support.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think it affects your range in hexes are shortened to where I don't think you can have, and again, I don't remember what the range are of a lot of the units vision wise, but I think it cuts that down.
Right. And, to be perfectly honest, the first part, the first, because how long did the Battle of the Bulge last? About 3 weeks?
10 days.
10 days.
Oh,
Yep.
That is? Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
17th through 27th would be what most people accept as the Battle of the Bulge.
Okay. When did Foy, the Battle of Foy, occur?
Somewhere in the middle of there, Patton, excuse me. Patton's armored troops reestablished contact with Bastogne on Christmas Eve, but that again is a very small point or part of the actual entirety of the Battle of the Bulge. But so yeah, Battle for Foy would have been a couple of times in between the 17th and 27th.
So, but at least the first couple of days, maybe even the first week, I would say that the Americans should have been at a disadvantage to the Germans due to that weather, because they didn't have any cold weather gear. Do any of the Bulge games take that into consideration?
I think that it's mostly abstracted into their combat values. Like there's not,
I think so.
because when you're looking at, so take, let's use SCS Bastogne. Each marker is what, a company or a battalion, Todd?
Probably a company.
Yeah. So Joe not having winter boots, but Harry's grandma having sent him wool socks. That isn't the level you're necessarily looking at. That's going to be in there as okay. Here we go. Not to mention the fact that my great balancer for the bulge is always that the Americans might not have had, all the winter equipment that they needed, but the Germans hadn't had a day with 3 square meals in about a year and a half. So you got to take as to which is the bigger disadvantage.
But they did have methylated chocolate bars.
They did have lots and lots of Pervitin. You are correct. And
I think that would make more sense in a really low level skirmish game where you're playing like guy for guy, like maybe an ambush or something.
That'd be a super cool, couple traits in Fistful of Lead. Not gonna lie.
Some negative traits.
Yeah.
And you could even roll if the problem is a lot of these battles take place over a few hours. Well, you're either going to have trench foot or you're not. So if it goes
right, no, but and I'm not looking at saying each individual dude in the company is gonna maybe have his boots, maybe not have his boots, maybe have what not. But the point is, was how big of I guess more of how big of a factor was not having winter gear, not having ammunition or enough ammunition. Was that enough of a factor in the combat effectiveness of the Americans at the beginning of the battle to say, okay, they're at a disadvantage up until this date when the sky clears and you can get an airdrop in, and then they kick over and now they're now they've got coats, now they've got ammunition, they're now going to fight more effectively.
Yeah, I don't think their problem was getting supply coats airdropped in. I think we had supply lines. I think it was more of getting bombs dropped in on the Germans.
Yeah, it was the planes. The plane was the problem.
Right. I was about to say, that being said, that is done pretty well in a lot of lower level bulge games in terms of, not every American unit in the Battle of the Bulge lacked winter gear, which is something that I find myself forgetting quite frequently because I watch Band of Brothers and just run off of that.
Sure. And most people do.
But so, I mean, that's something to that I always forget to keep in mind. But it's
all you need is a Brad Pitt and you're good.
Amen, brother.
Fair.
Right?
But
3 rounds of ammo, a tank called Fury, and screw the bulge.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, it seems like most of the weather is a real big strategic impact because that's what you're looking at. You're looking at, you're not looking at, again, is this platoon not having a good day? Who gives a shit? How does this affect my artillery supply? How does this affect,
Well, in the new Bismarck game, weather's a big deal when you're hunting for the Bismarck, whether you
that makes sense.
find it or not.
And you have to because weather played a big part. Right? Like if you ever played if you ever put out like a battle god damn of Samar game, it would have to be.
Same with Coral Sea.
Yeah, because when weather is an intrinsic part of an engagement, you can't avoid it.
Chris, does your naval game have weather in it?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. Not yet.
So it's just all clear sailing at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hell, there's barely night rules. So, I mean, 30 years, you'd think the sun would have set at some point. But no, and those are things that, a game designer, I think, needs to think about, to take into account. A, do I need to worry about weather at the scale that I'm running? B, if I do have to take into account of it, how much of a detriment is it going to be? Is it going to cause a large problem for me?
Well, do you have carriers in your game?
Only as targets.
Okay, because they should be facing into the wind, right?
Right.
So I mean that matters if you're going to be playing and you're not facing into the wind, with your launch and recovery efforts. And that's just wind.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just bright sunny day. You still want to.
Sure. Yeah, you got to point into the wind, and hopefully you're not pitching too much, like the Hornet did with the B-25s, and they had to time it just right so they didn't plow into the next big swell as they lifted off the deck doing 12 miles an hour.
Yeah. That would have been a fun ride.
That'd be all kinds of just horking out my breakfast.
Yeah, out of both ends.
So, I guess it really depends on what level of game you're playing. If you're at a division level commander and your units are companies and your turn is a day, you're not going to worry about a squall line coming through. It's just, was I able to get air cover because of, was I able to get air assets in because of cloud cover, or is my Mr. I'm not going to be here tonight is here tonight?
Fucking killing me.
Look at how whiny we are today.
Oh yeah,
if
we
you're
had
gonna
our
talk
big
about the
World
fucking
of
bulge.
Tanks.
Oh, sorry, hold on. That's
We had our big World of Tanks night, and all he did was administrative work all night.
if you're gonna talk about the fucking bulge, get it right.
Yeah, the bulge is just Jeff's favorite bar to go to.
Let me ask your mom. She's down the hall.
Good luck.
Oh really? Mom jokes? Come on.
The bulge started on the morning of the 16th of December before the sun come up. Get it right.
I think it's before the sun came up, but all right, West Virginia, relax.
I love you, asshole.
Yes,
You're
weather
going
would
to show
play a
up and be all
very good
pedantic.
role
You got to
in that.
expect this nonsense.
Weather was I'm playing a game right now that weather's just can screw you over.
I'm about to say
Well,
same. Stalingrad Pocket 2's got weather. It affects all kinds of stuff.
And so, and I know it could drastically affect the
No,
outcome, but
Play
how,
OCS. It affects the amount of supply range you have. Weather affects all games that have air power. If you need to have observers or spotters for artillery, it affects that. It affects spotters or observers for air coming in. All right. It affects spotters or observers for naval gunfire. Even your units like your mortar that were organic to infantry companies.
Yep.
They're affected by that stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I guarantee you of the 300 some games I have on the shelves back there, I'll bet you that at least 50%, if not 70% of them have something to do with weather that affects it. You play an East Front game that doesn't have weather effects in it, throw it in the trash.
Good night, John.
Hi, John.
Yeah.
See you, John. Good to see you, buddy.
And Charles says Hex is always correct.
Well, let's not get ridiculous here.
Fanboy. Charles is a fanboy.
I didn't
No doubt.
really E4. Did you put E4's comment up there already and I missed it? About
Which
the
one?
Attrition table increasing if freezing weather. That's kind of good. So that would talk about what you're talking about, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just, it's just I have not played enough hex and counter games to see it take effect. Now that being said, Salerno 43 weather does affect your supply, and it does affect your what is it? Your the German air cover ability.
Oh man,
So,
hey,
yeah.
Jeffy, do I want this Soviet giant armored stack to smash into Romanian artillery?
By all means, kill all Romanians. They're in the way.
Or just a single lone reinforcing German HQ?
Why are we not saying this?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks for being me this time.
I knew it was coming. So, hey, like in Normandy 44, another Simonich game, the weather can really screw you. If
Now
you
you're seeing this. I'm just kidding. Finish your sentence. I'm sorry, buddy.
The weather can really screw your chances as the Allies and Germans, I suppose, in Normandy 44. So much so it's like, you just roll with historical weather because otherwise you could get, I don't know, you can lose the game. At some point, it's kind of like, well, then what's the point? I don't know. So I guess you have to work around the weather. I guess that's what you have to do.
And just as a side note, we need to see McMurray's hands so that we know he's not over. Well, just to make sure you're not down the road bothering wardrobe there.
Yeah. Nope. We're good.
We
are
could actually
thoroughly at
see you
my
in your
house
home.
this week. I don't think I'll be leaving the house this week.
I will say this, that McMurray has done a masterful job of playing that game as the Germans.
Yeah. This game has gone way better for the Germans than I think it should have. So I didn't realize that this game, I should have read this scenario. I didn't realize it kicked off at the start of Operation Neptune, right? So I didn't realize it was kicking off with the Soviets needing to go on the offensive. So I kind of set up the board thinking the Germans were supposed to be attacking, and then set up my Soviets like, okay, I need to prepare a defense in depth. I need to be ready to stop this. And so the first like 2 turns were just the Germans were all set up for the attack when the Soviets were all set up for defense. So all of a sudden it was one of those, oh shit.
My God, how many? Okay, so like y'all were talking about the bulge earlier. At the start of the bulge, Nacho, you were talking about the misbalance of numbers. The Germans had 25 divisions facing 4.
Right.
Correct. Guess what they didn't have, Jeff?
They didn't have a victory.
Cohesive command and control, vehicles that worked, or gas.
Yeah. Gas,
big
killer.
Okay, so I gotta ask, Hex,
or food.
That's the same T-shirt you had on for 3 weeks. Is that a special?
Correct.
Wednesday T-shirt?
No, it's just West Virginia.
Okay. I wear it every night when I come home. Hey, I live by myself.
Yeah, I do too. But
hey, you should be more concerned about what's below the red T-shirt.
I'm assuming we're talking about the bulge here.
Speedo.
Not just his favorite bar, apparently. So should this great big Soviet armored stack smash up? So this HQ should be able to be taken care of by these two. Should this guy try and smash up this?
If it was Germans, McMurray, you wouldn't be asking us. You just do it. So just
do
it.
Well, that's the thing. This reinforcing HQ is just hanging out over here.
Kill him. Kill the headquarters.
Yeah, but that artillery's bad, man. The Germans, I'm not going to put them out of supply because I got headquarters right here.
Well, kill the artillery then.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Kill the arty boom boom. Okay, so Tom left the room, so I can't say nothing.
Why not?
TCS is my new favorite SCS game.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is there a TCS Rostov?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've got 90% of them. Might be one in there somewhere.
TCS is Tactical Combat
Series
system. Yeah.
Whatever.
Is that Prussia game you played?
No, that's Prussia's Glory. I want to get the second version of that one.
Yeah,
too.
you were glowing over that. I watched your video on it.
That took me way out of my realm of eras that I play, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looked cool.
So, all right, to kind of put a pin in it, most games tend to have some sort of weather. At least hex and counter games tend to have some sort of weather table that you look at, and it
most games will give you historical, or they'll give you a chart to roll on if you want to play random.
right.
It just makes your game more interesting if you play random. Because if you look down at the weather chart and say, "Oh, I got 6 turns of sunny and no rain or nothing," you got 6 turns to bust ass.
Right. Yeah, like Salerno 43, the weather changes every turn.
On a dice roll or on a time chart?
On a dice roll.
Okay, there you go. I think that's the best way to. Okay, so if you want to play the game under like Gettysburg, I don't have to worry about Gettysburg because it was 150,000 degrees all 3 days. All right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to really worry about that. But I mean, if you want to play a game where you want to play the game from the historical standpoint, and of course, you all know I've always said this: give me the deployments, the victory conditions, get out of the way, let me play, let me do my own thing. But if you want to play the game historical from start to finish, then play with the weather that was there.
Yeah.
If it provides it.
Yeah.
We would have fun with it. Play with
me.
Yeah, the only problem with playing with the actual weather is now and you don't have that as an unknown, because in some battles, decisions are made. I mean, just watch enough NASCAR. Are we going to race or are we not going to race? Is the track dry? Blah, blah, blah. They go out and it rains. The same thing happens, I'm sure, in the Civil War. Let's go to the field. Oh, great. Started raining.
Yeah. Cannon powder ain't so good when it's pouring down rain on it.
No.
I was about to say, that was one thing I was going to point out, was that weather also affects different periods differently and different sorts of warfare differently as well.
Right. Because modern, anything past, 1990, rain isn't going to affect you too much. I mean, if there's a lot of rain, yeah, you can,
close my hatch, turn my thermal on, and get after it.
Yeah. If there's a lot of rain, you could get bogged down in your tracks, but
it's going to slow movement down regardless. I mean, okay, so what did the Russians do in World War II that nobody else thought of doing to their vehicles, or their tanks specifically?
Paint them white.
The T-34 was the first one to do it.
A little visor on the window.
Yeah, little windshield wipers. Yeah, wide tracks.
Yeah,
fucking bullshit.
The big wide track.
The Russians.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you're playing a game as Uncle Eric. My bad.
I'm not, because the Krauts did a pretty shitty job of it too until the Tiger, which admittedly the Tiger won the test for ground, like how waterlogged the ground was could a crew member go out there and hop up and down on one foot, and if he sunk in deeper than the heel of his boot, then he needed to go somewhere else. But no,
the Tiger didn't have to move. It had a fucking cannon from hell.
Well, yeah, not to mention the fact that most of the time it couldn't, because the engine would catch on fire.
I was about to say,
Panther.
That's if the engine didn't catch on fire or the transmission didn't turn itself into about 3 tons of glitter.
Yeah. But that's okay. We're also assuming that the T-34 actually has welds that connect to one on each side.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you, buddy.
Look at you guys. But no,
I know they're cute, aren't they?
I would argue real hard that the T-34 wasn't the most effective or innovative use of wide tracks. They certainly weren't the first. Look at how wide the tracks were on a Mark VI. Like,
the T-34 was out before the 6.
The T-34 was a pretty awesome little vehicle. What do you mean, not effective?
The T-34 was not out before the Mark VI.
It most certainly, Mark VI Tiger, it certainly fucking was.
Dickhead, I'm talking about the British Mark VI. It was introduced in 1917, you mongoloid fuck.
The British count.
I'm sorry. You're going to talk bad about the Russian armor. That it had a purpose and it served that purpose very well.
It sort of did. You're right. The Russians understood planned obsolescence, and they understood that.
Hey, McMurray, the Confederate cavalry was the first one to put oversized horseshoes on their cavalry.
That same mentality is every single product at Walmart today.
I agree with you. That's why I don't buy things that my life depends on at Walmart.
Well, I suspect 90% of everything you own is that same quality that the Russians put in their T-34s.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I'm
just saying they were innovative before their time.
He's disagreeing. I would
wholeheartedly disagree with, given that basically the entirety of Russian tank manufacturing and any heavy manufacturing came out of Detroit, anyways.
Let's talk to Reese about his hex and counter game that he bought.
Wait. How'd they get from Detroit to Moscow?
It's a very interesting. What you should read about, and I can't think of the book right now. Is I believe his name is Albert Kahn, but the man who designed and built most of the automobile and heavy manufacturing plants in Detroit and the great urban centers in the U.S. was hired to do the same thing with large-scale factory production in the USSR.
Okay, well, that doesn't mean it came from Detroit. It came from that dude's brain. You're giving
Detroit,
way too much credit.
And we should have kept John Longshore on here. That's where he's from.
Yeah.
And Rich is from.
Well, I'm just saying the T-34 did its job. It was the backbone of that army, and that army
cheap.
ended up. Who was
the
dancing
fact-
in the streets at the end of the war in Berlin? I
What?
don't think it was the Germans.
I didn't hear you.
I said, who was dancing in the streets in Berlin at the end of the war?
Oh,
Wasn't the home
well,
team?
There were some frogs like a week before it ended, but
Think the T-34.
So what I'm surprised at is that the Mighty Endeavor doesn't have weather in it.
that's because you'd have to change it for every place you went.
I mean, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's not like the entirety of continental Europe can have one giant fucking rainstorm.
I actually have asked that in some games if they have different weather patterns for different parts of the area, and most don't.
That would be kind of hard, unless it's one of those big games to keep track of, don't you think?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. You'd have to do it in zones or something.
Yeah, that would be interesting, though.
Well, I mean, Charles can tell us, but I think in Mighty Endeavor you have like zones for your aircraft. You can just make each of those zones have different weather.
EFS.
EFS has weather in different areas.
Mm-hmm. Computer game, War in the East.
Well, a computer game, that's a little easier.
Interesting idea, though.
Only for tracking. I mean, because even a computer game is just referencing a table.
Well, right, but it's one less thing you have to track. And
well, yeah.
So the deal is that most games that are going into, and they don't even have to go into deep detail, most games will have weather that affects something.
Right. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Hexy.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
That's the only cereal he eats.
Now, Walt, have you played No Question of Surrender yet? That's GTS. I got that, I'm pretty sure, but I haven't played any GTS.
MMP, No Question of Surrender, Beer Hachheim.
Beer Hachheim.
Okay, whichever. There's a weather chart you roll for each turn. All right.
Yeah, Chuck Charles, I think the Russian campaign is right up there, like we were talking about with Mighty Endeavor, like the giant scale of that, because that's essentially the entirety of the Eastern Front. It'd be hard to abstract weather into that.
yeah, but you do have weather turns, like it starts to get snowy and muddy.
Yes, yeah. So it's that's fair. So you have seasons.
Yeah.
Right. And you can go with, and I have no idea if the U.S. Civil War deals with weather at all. I haven't gotten that far into it. I just now figured out how to check to see if something is or is not in supply or part supply or what have you. So
I just checked Mighty Endeavor, and Charles is right. There is not weather in there. That's surprising. They don't have like seasons or something, because you go from June to May. Huh.
And what part of the war is the Great Endeavor cover?
The entire ETO, East and
Oh,
West
wow.
Front.
From 44 to the end of the war.
From June to May.
Yeah.
Charles, you say it does on the map, or is that a different game you're talking about? It's maybe talking about Russian campaign.
I don't know. So the next thing that I was thinking about is what everybody chooses to. What game does everybody choose to play their most favorite battle or era or etc.? So, for instance, starting up in 9 days, y'all are playing Bulge games. Are those your favorite Bulge games, or are those just ones that you haven't you haven't played before and you want to see how they play? Or
favorite, I think McMurray's. I remember, by the way, I misquoted. I put Ardennes for McMurray on that thing, but I think McMurray's going to play Bulge Avalon Hill.
I might play Bulge and then set up Bastogne, because Bulge usually, like I said, the first time I played through Bulge, I got so into it, I just played it all in one night.
And I would say that Todd and I are not playing our favorites because I'm playing a game I've never touched before that's old, and Todd's playing Null. So,
yeah, I'm not playing Rostov 41.
Yeah, because it had 41 instead of 44.
Although I did determine you could play Panzer Battles, the Cheer River Battle, because it takes place in December of 42, so it's the 80th anniversary. So maybe that's what I should play.
Correct. I was thinking today about playing Victory in the Pacific because it's the 81st anniversary of Pearl Harbor. But
right,
that's what I'm playing.
What is that? I can't see it on my phone.
Oh, thought you said Pearl Harbor.
White Star.
Oh,
Nations at War.
I would say it's not my favorite. So I don't know what my favorite.
Well, I'll have to worry about this stuff next year. I've only got back into gaming about a year ago, so I don't have enough of a library to choose a favorite from yet. So,
but do you have a Bulge game or something that covers it?
I do.
Oh, that's been tempting Jeff, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. Well, Todd,
race for
the sooner you get that box here, the sooner you get a nice Bulge game to play.
What?
I'm sending you the freaking Deadly Woods.
Oh, that's right. So could you play a scenario out of that, Hissy?
I could. I probably should. Actually, it's not a bad idea.
Just a small. Idea. I'm sure they got a couple small ones.
They do. They have a learning one that's pretty small that I could break out. It's on a very small map, like an 8.5, well, a little more than 11 by 17, I think. So yeah, I should do that.
So Chris, I think my one I really want to try is Ardennes 44 because I have not played. That's a 7-inch game I've not played yet.
Yeah.
But whether or not I get to that, because I think we might play, McMurray and I don't know if Jeff would join us, but we might play a smaller Bastogne one live because like one of the really short ones.
Oh, that'd be cool to watch.
And get it done in an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, hell, like I said, that first one that's marked, that's, exhibited as, hey, this is a learning game, is one turn. But then the fight around Noria, Basant, and all the other ones, nope, that's not the right one. That's Canadian Crucible. There's the one where you have to capture 3 villages. That one's a few turns, but we did that not live, but together. And that was pretty simple.
So is it mandatory at Christmas you've got to play a Bulge game? You can't play like a World War I game and break out a soccer match on Christmas Day?
Todd does play world-class soccer, whatever. You got to go over to Wardrobe Plays Sports, though.
That's right.
Are you a football fan?
I've kind of started learning about it, so I'd hardly say I'm a fan.
Wait. We had this conversation. A few of you guys
you hate him.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
never mind. You don't like football, as a matter of fact.
Because you're a Tottenham fan, apparently you don't like football.
Well, they don't play football. That's
right.
My point. And what they play is disgusting. I don't know what you call it. It's not football. Anyway, I digress.
No, we just decided to do the Bulls. It wasn't.
Okay.
I kept trying to throw this 42 stuff on our face, but
yeah, and I don't have any games that play in winter.
Was there any big battle in the Pacific over the holidays?
Good question.
Yes. I mean, there's got to be, because most fighting in the Pacific was not broken up necessarily by season as much. Let's see here.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah, none of us. Well, no, none of us.
Reese,
Because
you
that's
should
what I've been
best
into
on-
lately. I've been really a lot into the war in the Pacific.
What do you have? Pacific War? Maybe you could pull out a scenario.
I have Pacific War. I have 4 different Tarawa games. Yeah.
So yeah, Guadalcanal was going on during winter because again that was a 6-month campaign. Sorry.
I guess that game Operation Orange, that would have been about that time because that all happened right around this period of time, right? Shortly after the battle of, Pearl Harbor.
But doesn't Pacific War have smaller engagements and stuff?
It does. It does.
So I wonder if they have one that covers that time period. I mean, McMurray, I don't have to do this as much, but it seems like McMurray, you like playing the games kind of when they took place. It seems like
It helps. Yeah, I don't know. I just find it motivating or topical or something. I don't know. Yeah, I do. Like that's what I'm doing with Stalingrad Pocket. I started it in the middle of November and I'm keeping pace. It's the 7th now. I'm playing turn 10, which is December 7 and 8.
So,
Oh,
Reese,
wow, I didn't
you're
know
filling out workers' comp paperwork. I'm in the work comp industry.
Yeah, Reese gets
Fun stuff.
gets the shit picked out of him all the time because he works with evil turkeys.
I don't think the turkeys have the money to pay you, Reese.
Literally, the birds. We're talking birds, Sissy. He's literally getting
Yeah.
the shit kicked out of him by large-breasted birds.
He got
And we're not
stuff.
talking about we're not talking about female women.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
so. Yeah, Hissy, those are birds that actually win something.
You got electrocuted. Wow.
Oh yikes, dude!
Sweet.
That's
Again?
shocking news.
Didn't your mom teach you not to lick your fingers and stick them in the socket when you were a kid?
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
Lick in the
you can't
socket
workman's comp
directly.
when you weren't properly observing lockout, tag out, buddy.
The birds are getting. No, I think the birds did. One got behind him, one jumped on him, flipped on the other guy right into the fence. Man, they're planning this stuff.
Do you guys keep the?
There we go.
Yeah.
Wait, let me get that link. Hold
Yeah,
on.
hold it.
Got it.
You know
Oh,
what?
nice.
They must have heard what Chris said, and some bot said, "Oh, feed an ad."
Oh, for
Nice.
Oh, man.
Reese
Oh, there
brings
were
the
more of
women.
them.
Hot girls are waiting here.
Well, I gotta
I'll
go,
be
guys.
there later.
I gotta.
Oh, you're done.
Oh man.
the switch box failed. The turkeys colluded.
I'm about to say, do you guys keep turkeys behind electrified fences? Like, is that a thing?
I think it's probably to keep Reese inside.
That or
Probably
well, it could
so.
be to keep other stuff out also. Yeah, Hexy's girls are here. That's right. That's right, Charles.
Hey, always remember, one prostitute a week is less expensive than a wife always.
Oh.
Is it?
Yeah, because I finally stopped paying for all those extra wives I had.
Extra wives.
Yeah, I had 3 of them.
Wait, did you finally get a sunset on all your?
Oh, well, all the child support stuff
judgments.
went away years ago because I'm
There you go.
old. Hey, Rich Champion informed me last night, that he's trying to push me over the edge, and he's sending me a freaking naval game.
Ah.
Nice. What's
War
he sending you?
Naval game.
What's he sending you?
I know he won't tell me. So I'm not allowed to open it till Christmas either.
Did he
So
tell you what
nice.
period it's for?
He just Civil War. He said it's got, ironclads and it's got some, but it is a Civil War. So
Nice.
go.
Hey,
it's his wife.
Rich-
Hang on. Sorry
Rich,
for
if you're
all
on here, let me know what it is. I'll try and get myself a copy so that Jeffy and I can play it together. Unless it's some Goss naval type stuff, but even so.
I'm going to set the pieces on my rug out here and shoot rubber bands at it.
There you go.
Ah, you're killing me. You're killing me. Hey, next time, Jeff, next time you talk to Rich, find out if he received my email.
Oh, I didn't think about that last time when I was talking to him.
That's fine. Because I haven't heard hide nor hair from him.
Well, he called me to tell me that like GMT did to some other people, he did the 50% that night on the Great Battles of History Simple Rules editions
Yeah.
and filled his order, and then they sent him an email there saying, "Sorry, we ran out."
Oh.
What a
So
bunch of dicks.
So he got 2 copies of the earlier version of that, and he's sending me one of those.
Oh, cool.
There you go. So, what is, and we'll go around, what, and I know, Hissy, you're just now back into it, and I'm brand new to it in comparison. But what is everybody's, well, we'll start with the Bulge because that's the closest big event. What's your favorite Bulge game? Don't everybody jump in at once.
Jeff, you can handle this one for me.
All right, so, oh boy. Well, I'm going to say still to this day because I haven't played all the ones I have. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you my favorite and my worst. Todd has my worst in that box coming back to me. And my favorite is the original SPI Vakdam Rhine.
Okay.
Currently, though, would be Ardennes from MMP that McMurray and I both have.
Ardennes or Bastogne?
Ardennes.
That's fair. That game was really fun.
Yep, well done. It was a well done game. If you ever come across that from MMP, the Ardennes game from MMP, and it's not extremely costly, grab it. Fuck, I'll buy a second copy from you if you don't want nothing to do with it.
I was about to say the nice thing is now that they leaked pictures of new maps for it and have said they're going to try and put it out in 2024 or 2023. The price of the old ones has dropped. It used to be really expensive. I think I had to pay like $70 for mine, but now they're down to like 30 or 40, which is pretty.
I'll have to get one then.
Was that Ardennes from published in 1994?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to go Avalon Hill with Battle of the Bulge. That was like my third or fourth game ever.
65, 81, which one? Bruno did all of them, so pick one.
Which one? The Battle of the Bulge from Avalon Hill? It was the earliest one.
65.
Yeah, that original one. With the...
Okay, I probably got it in the mid.
Did yours have
70s.
patent on the front of it?
No, it had a couple of guys in a foxhole in the lower right-hand corner, I think.
Yeah, that's the earliest one, the first one.
Yeah.
So the guy that did that game, that created all those, that's the same guy whose last one he did was A Time for Trumpets.
There you go. The two polar opposites.
Yep.
I'm going to have to agree with Hissy that it's either that or if I can zoom in, MMP's Bastogne, also in the SCS series, is absolutely phenomenal. That's probably my favorite. One of my favorite games.
Okay, so wait a minute. So Hissy's sort of answered, but
mine's
McMurray, what about the
romance,
campaign, the whole thing, not a scenario, but the whole thing? If you got to play the whole Bulge,
the whole thing, it's probably same thing as Hissy. Avalon Hill's Bulge.
Really?
It's so much fun.
Mine is a romantic pick because I had it as a kid and played a lot. I don't remember much of it. I'll have to get it again if it still holds up.
Yeah, no, I loved it. There's certainly crunchier stuff out there. There's certainly stuff that's, I can't get enough of it. I said, the first time I played it, I started playing it and I finished it, 8 hours later that night.
Oh, nice!
Because I was having so much fun with it.
That's a winner for McMurray. Some people, may not like that game because it's, maybe
on the simpler side. Yeah,
he loves that kind of. You can get it done in an evening.
Accurate.
Well, hey, Charles, I guess I'll find out if I think it's most excellent because I'm getting it.
So let me ask. I'm going to go back to. I'm going to now crap on a button. You dumb shit. Ardennes, is that the Gamers is the publisher on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
$25 at Noble Knight.
Exactly.
Grab it if you want an Ardennes game and you don't want to wait for the new one. Grab it.
That's a great game.
And if you get order now, I don't know how fast they are, but you'll probably get that before.
You'll get it super fast. Noble Knight are freaks, man.
You'll have it before 16th.
Yeah, Noble Knight is wild.
Oh, guys, you're gonna make me spend money, and I don't want to.
Well, you don't
That's
need to.
what we do.
That's
That's
a large
what
game.
we
Our
Joe
game is a
obviously
two-mapper.
missed something.
You know, I have friends that make me do that. And I said, I'm going to go get new friends. And my new friends are doing the exact same thing as my old friends.
Again,
Jeez,
our
man.
den
Hey,
is a
you know what the solution is, right? Stay in the closet.
Uh,
Todd, did you say you're getting bitter woods from Compass Games?
You did.
Well, what? No, I'm sorry. What are you sending me?
I'm sending you Deadly Woods,
Okay, never mind.
which I think you will enjoy.
well, hold on. If it's your least favorite, are you think you're superior to him in some regards? That you don't like it, but he would?
Okay, no. So what happened was I played Ardennes 44 by Mark Simonich a while back,
Oh man!
and I thought it sucked the biggest ass of any game I've ever seen. on
Wow.
Ardennes. So I sent it to Todd to give to McMurray. Well, McMurray's brain fumed up, and he never opened the box. So I said, you know what? I've got
I did
all
open the
games
box.
in the series, so just send that back to me so I can at least keep the collection. And then Todd was kind enough to look at the box when McMurray brought it back and said, maybe it's because you're not playing the current version. So now I'm going to end up having to play that son of a bitch again with some different rules.
I did look in the box. I absolutely
cried.
did.
And cried.
Like a little bit. I still think it would have been hilarious to just play it using only like a combat factor and a movement factor and just ignore everything else and blow people's minds acting like I was getting through turns in about an hour.
Time for trumpets. I should send you that and you should play it with just the numbers on the counters. I got this done in 2 days.
Yeah. I don't see what the big deal is. I'm flying through this.
Next year, his favorite game will be Tactics 2. He's going to regress.
Oh,
Yeah.
great game. What a great game.
No, but Battle for the Bulge, that was an outstanding one. I still, if you haven't played War in the Atlantic, go buy a used copy of War in the Atlantic for $20-$30. God, I love that game.
How did it
Well, I'm doing a whole thing where I'm going back and picking up some of the older Avalon Hill games. I got
Yeah.
Tobruk, which was one of my favorites as a kid.
There you go.
I got Submarine. Had to get 2 copies because I didn't read the instructions in the first listing, and it was some of the components were missing.
Yep.
My bad. I bought a second one, so now I got plenty of them. But yeah, I'm going through and doing that with some of the old Avalon Hill stuff. So I definitely need to get the Bulge game.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I can't say enough nice about it. I really enjoy it. Come on, man.
So,
Oh yeah, Todd hasn't said anything.
Man, I guess it's going to have to be Bastogne right now.
the campaign. We need a campaign one.
Yes.
Oh,
Have you played many campaign
Well,
games?
I'm going to go Race for Bastogne on the campaign because that's the only other one I have. And I've heard good things from it from Ard. So if Ard Wolf said it was good, that's good enough for me.
There you go.
I don't think I've played a full campaign of anything of it. I never really did like the Bulge until I got Bastogne and played it.
That game's outstanding. I'm happy
And
to
then I read more
pick that
books
up.
about it, and now I
You
want
don't
to play
have
Ardennes 44.
You don't have Ardennes?
I do.
Haven't you played that?
Nope.
Well, maybe you should, Mr. Reed.
Maybe I will.
Mr. Jeff.
It won't be the
Let me
whole
ask you,
campaign,
do you
though.
guys play a bunch of the bag games, magazine games, print and play games? Because I don't hear you talk about that stuff much.
That Wilderness game, the one for GBACW that I'm test playing, I
Uh-huh.
printed all that, made all those counters.
It's not the same, though. Is it going to come to market that way?
No, but you want to play some good Civil War games that are print and play, go to Ulan Games.
Send me a link because I'm going to start doing a whole series on my channel for print and play games.
He does. I'm back soon. I'll be playing the bigger Antietam game that he created.
Okay, so if you've got some good links, send them to me because I'm going to put that. Like I said, I'm going to do a whole thing on print and play games. So
I've played a number of folio type games, like bag games.
yeah,
And really enjoyed them. Both some of the Decision Games folio games, which are the next ones that I've got coming up. Here, let me turn my camera around. Oh, that's the wrong one. I just got these 2 in. So these are naval games that Jeff would hate, but those are bagged up. Bastogne technically is a bag game now. I don't really count it as one, but then I've played a couple of their Civil War games. And then I've got Blue and the Gray, which is it comes in a box, but it's 4 of their bag games. There's a couple SCS titles that are bag games that I've played that I really enjoyed. Yeah, they're fantastic.
I've
Some
got
people-
three milk crates back there with bad games.
Some people
Well, I
really
didn't know
like-
because I a lot of times when I watch the show, I hear you guys talk a lot about the big manufacturers, and I didn't know if that was kind of your main thing, and you just
Another
didn't
thing you can do
veer
too
off the path.
is if you go to the SPI.net, their archives for the old SPI games,
Mhm.
95% of the games that they made, all the maps and the counters and the rule books are all there. And matter of fact, I already printed the drive, their version of Drive to Stalingrad, I think it's called.
Okay.
I'm going to make the counters for that event. One day I will. I mean, photo paper, spray glue, and 2mm chipboard. Perfect.
Print them on stickers. Go get your Avery stickers. Print
And
everything
I
on the
did that.
stickers.
I did that. Then they're
You don't have
flat.
to worry
You
about
gotta-
spraying nothing.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you
yeah,
got to
sure.
spray if you want them to have any kind of sheen on them. You got to spray lacquer. So I just said, fuck that. Photo paper. And I get the Elmer's
Sheen.
spray glue.
What do you
has no-
put
no odor.
glitter on them too?
No,
Here's a
not-
good.
I don't want them flat.
So
I
it's a
don't want-
historical game company.
Mhm.
They put out bad games also. This one's in a box, but I think
Oh yeah, you guys played that the other night. You kind
I
of got me
did.
semi-interested in that.
I put a video out about this. It's a really small company that's local, and most of their games are available on Blue Panther. They're actually 10 or 15% off right now for this week.
Okay.
But most of those you get as bad games.
Did they actually have castles in the United States for those battles, or is that just?
So it's more like of the French idea of a Martello Tower. But yeah,
But they did actually build those.
one in St. Louis. There were supposed to
Okay.
be four. There were supposed to be four
Okay.
put up, but they only got one put up before the British got here.
Okay.
But yeah, Yep.
And that's why we kicked the French out, right? Because we didn't need that kind of architecture.
the lobsters built the Spanish built those.
Oh, okay.
That one, Francisco de Leyva, put together that one.
Makes you wonder what this country would be like if it was covered with castles, right? It'd be interesting.
Bitchin'. Yeah, awesome. There's a pretty well-known quote castle in Missouri at one of our state
I'm
parks.
sure there are some, but I mean, like a common thing.
Yeah, it's not. They aren't everywhere. Like people don't still live in them and shit like they do in Europe.
Yeah. That would be interesting if if we were if this country was that old, where we had old castles and stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah, those loony goobers, man. You never know.
It has nothing to do with the topic we're talking about. It has nothing to do with the bullets, but again, I sidetracked. So
I mean, there's probably a castle or two in the Ardennes area.
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah. So no, we're good. We're right on topic.
okay, I like how
Okay,
you brought that back. Good job.
Yeah, buddy.
I have a question.
Oh, Christ on a bike.
In board games, when they talk about first, second, third edition, are there major differences?
Depends on the game.
Yep, you gotta read and research it.
Differs from game to game.
So
There's no
for
definitive
instance-
answer.
So for instance, Ardennes 44, you got the third edition
Yep.
on Board Game Geek. You got the third edition
Yep.
for $100. You got the second edition for $20.
That's where you can, if you don't have money, that's where you can pick up a lot of games inexpensive and still get high quality play out of them.
Right.
That's what we did with SCS Africa.
I'm just wondering. I mean,
You just have to read and see what the
Well,
change.
I think you're looking at two different people selling a game. That's not a market. The dude selling it for $100 could be on crack. Maybe it's
Yeah.
a $40 game.
There's a
Well-
reason it's still there.
but
How long has it been
see, Noble Knight selling it for 115.
Okay,
Noble Knight is also-
that's a little more legit then. So okay.
I'm about to say Noble Knight's prices can also fluctuate pretty wildly depending on when it got.
Yeah,
put
but I
up,
mean, if
who
you're
they had
looking
on
for
there.
a decent baseline, I think you can
Yes.
use those.
So Chris, in the version 3 rules that I have, there's about a half a page of changes that were made from the second edition in the third edition.
So that being said, were there changes to the components? In other words,
That's the biggest thing you have to look out for. Like if they're
because can't you download? I know, like with Compass games, you can download the rules for free.
GMT, you can do all that too. It's either going to be on Board Game Geek or on
so
on
you could
GMT games. But
so
you have to look if you can play with the version 3 rules because they might have changed some of the counter values, like on just a few units.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, well, we learned that the 10th Armored Division didn't have such and such. But I think for the most part, the Ardennes ones were just little tweaks, though it seemed like a lot of changes in those rules. So
yeah.
So like when you get that, you can look it up and see if it's stuff you can play with, or is it going to be like making new counters.
And didn't the map go from paper to hardback in the next one? And
yeah, it takes a little bit of research, but I think a lot of games aren't that. I mean, it's like Jeff sent me Guderian's Blitzkrieg 1, the very first one, OCS game. Well, that doesn't really convert well to the new rules. So you just have to decide, like, I just want to play it for what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, but some games do have major changes because they really noticed they had big problems. You do have to
because I know in miniatures gaming, you go from one edition to another edition. You could swing wildly at how the game changes in its play. Perfect example is Flames of War version 3 compared to Flames of War version 4. Or
I think they do that on purpose, though.
Oh, miniatures games?
Yeah, well, that's your flagship game, and you're not, if you're producing board games and you've got a catalog of 30 games, you're not worried about it. If you're doing 3 miniature games, and that's where your bread and butter is, and you got to sell those books, man. You got to make changes just to make changes.
Well, absolutely, and I'll be honest. Games Workshop and Battlefront, or Gale Force 9 now, they aren't rules companies. They're miniatures companies.
Right.
So you're gonna make a game to sell your miniatures. Well, everybody has bought this version of the Space Marine. What are we gonna do to sell a new Space Marine? Oh, we'll put out a new set
chapter.
A new edition of the game with a new codex, and now all of those old models, if you're a competitive player, all those old models are no longer any good. Jackasses.
I want that game from.
Well, is it who's got that new or relatively new Civil War miniature game that's like 18 mil or some weird ass?
So
howdy, here we go.
It's Warlord Games.
Yes, Warlord Games.
It's 13.5 millimeter.
Okay.
And it is based loosely on not Pike and Shot, Black Powder.
Okay, so I have purposely not purchased that product because of that reason.
God, you should never purchase that nonsensical horse shit.
Don't listen to them. Read it. Figure out what you want.
No, I do, but the problem that I have is when you try to create a monopoly off scale, especially with 3D printers coming out, or some weird basing rules. That's another way they get you, right? You base all your miniatures 8 to a base, and then they change the base size and they're 12, or then they're 4, or whatever.
Correct.
And you don't want to rip all your miniatures apart just because you're not saving any money at that point, right?
Right.
But I don't know, this 13.5 mil, this odd, it just stinks to me, and I just won't buy the product. I don't care how good it is. I won't buy it because you're forcing me into a scale. But you got that as an STL, right?
No. This is the actual. We lost McMurray. This is the actual model that you buy from Warlord. Now, I didn't buy it; it was given to me. When you see me do a Warlord Games 1/1800 scale ship, they were given to me. I did not buy this stuff in any way, shape, or form. But I'm using this as an example.
Okay.
Who plays World War II in 1/1800 scale, especially when you're, purporting to put it onto a 4x6 table? This is, in my opinion, this is ridiculous. Is the model beautiful? Absolutely, it's beautiful. Am I ever going to play with it? No.
Because you're not an idiot.
Right, because World War II naval combat should not be in 1/1800 scale. At best, it should be 1/2400th.
Not if you're putting anything bigger than about a destroyer or a PT boat on the field.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Just like Cruel Seas is at 1/300th scale.
So what's that there, Hex?
That's the one. That's one of the 2 games Todd's getting.
Oh, okay.
The Deadly Woods.
Yeah.
That's the one you didn't like, you said?
No, this one was good.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
getting this one here, which is heavier than shit.
Heavier as in physically heavy or heavy as in gameplay?
No, heavy, just heavy. Watch Wise Guy Nathan's playing it right now. Crossing the line, Hawken.
Okay.
That's a very and Todd, you might, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to touch that one you're playing right there, but that system has the potential for you to say that's your new favorite SDS game.
Oh, by the way, Hex,
better than
I've got
SDS,
your new
isn't it?
favorite Civil War game. I'll ship you here soon.
The one that one you said you ordered?
No. The one I'm designing. So this past week, I've decided to run a game design contest to
I saw that. I was going to ask you about that.
to put it on postcards, and I'm doing Pickett's Charge,
Oh, okay.
and it's going to fit on a postcard, and I'm going to print them up. I've already got a top-notch artist that's going to do the artwork for me, and I'll send you a couple copies, and it will be your favorite.
Hold on. You're doing
So
what?
I got a question about this for you, Hissy, because I'm intrigued.
Okay.
The entire game has to fit on a 5x7 postcard, right? Well,
Yes. Let me give me a second. Let me go grab a couple to show you what they kind of look like. But
Sure.
things like dice or bags for chip pull or coins that you flip or a 52 card deck of cards, those
Right.
things aren't going to be on the postcard. But just give me.
But the
Okay,
map
5
is on the
seconds.
postcard. All right, yeah, get after it.
I want a postcard game with a 48-page rule book.
That sounds badass. No, that
Jesus
doesn't sound
Christ.
badass. That sounds absurd. Have fun playing mini Goss.
No, that is bad ass. It's
Bad,
bad
Jeff.
ass. It's
Bad, Jeffrey.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No,
So
don't be sorry.
I had picked up a lock and load game years ago, and inside of it was a postcard game. I didn't think much about it.
Yeah.
So, okay,
let me embiggen you here. Hold on one second.
sure.
All right, there we go.
So you got the map, you got counters, and on the back side, you got all the rules.
Okay,
Okay.
so the counters have to come off of that 5x7 card.
Yeah, this is actually a 4x6, but I'm going to go 5x7 in my contest.
Okay.
So I just ordered a game, and I got this they threw this in the box as well from Snafu.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So there's a whole subculture. Some of it's print and play. Other ones, they come like so. And I decided to do a game design contest using the postcard size as the main parameter to do a war game. So far I've got, not counting myself, 12 entries, which is pretty
Oh,
cool.
outstanding. Well, I
yeah.
might have to consider and
Oh,
think about.
dude, totally do you could probably take your ship-to-ship combat and do that on a postcard game with just a handful of ships.
I'll see what I can figure out.
Yeah, well, the deadline's going to be at the end of March. So if you decide you want to do it and you want some help, hit me up. I'll help you out with that. That would be totally cool.
That's pretty badass.
Get something figured out.
Yeah. Well, I want to play more of these games. They're fun. They're easy to travel with. They don't take much. I mean, they're a couple of simple little mechanics, and you can sit down and play a game.
Yeah. Definitely. Or I might go, 180 to my other love, and that's and I'm really thinking about it right now because of I just started listening again for like the 10th time, Red Storm Rising.
Okay, so Charles, the two of the three that I currently have are ATO games, the postcard games, because they ship.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember when I got my copy of Look Away, there was one of the. It was a Civil War, big Civil War game on a postcard. I remember that.
Yep.
I think I.
So you were saying, Chris, you're going to do Red Storm Rising potentially?
But yeah, potentially doing something. Doing something along the lines of, that time frame, maybe something out of Red Storm Rising.
Okay. Well,
maybe something on Iceland.
I totally encourage you to jump in. I mean, you've designed games, right? So you kind of understand the process. I mean, it's a challenge because what I'm finding is I've designed a really cool system for my Pickett's Charge. I got it basically working. I got to work with the numbers a little bit, but describing the combat system in small enough text to fit on the back of a postcard, that's going to be my challenge.
Right. That doesn't encroach into the counters.
Yeah, because obviously you can't cut them.
They're going to cut those off.
Now, most people get 2 copies because they don't want to. It's hard when you're playing and you want to check the rules, and you got to.
Yeah, I was about to say, how does that work?
You get just 2 copies.
There
you literally flip the table to read the rules.
I flip the table enough when I'm not happy with the game. I don't need to be doing it when I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah. No, but I've got a pretty cool. I got a well-known artist that loves this format, and he's offered to do a free makeover of somebody's game. Do you know who Niels Johansson is?
Why does that name sound familiar?
He just did Lazarus Ridge, the David Thompson game.
Is that should be a bulge game? Lazarus Ridge?
It is, but it's just the Lazarus Ridge.
Yeah, it's on the north end. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but if you look at that map, and I just picked up 3 games from Snafu, and he did all the maps and counters. He's my favorite artist by far. And again, I'm coming into the industry, so I know Rick Barber's pretty famous and has done a lot of beautiful maps. But for me, right now, it's Niels Johansson. It's just levels above everybody. But I'm biased because I really like his stuff, and he's going to do one of my games. So there you go. Anyway,
very cool.
But yeah, Chris, definitely encourage you to partake in it.
So it's just so everybody knows. And where are you? Where have you presented this to people? I saw
mostly on Twitter right now. That's where I've got most of a following out, and I'll put some. So Friday, I'm going to have my official announcement. It's been on Twitter. I've gotten a lot of, like I said, feedback. I'm hosting it on itch.io.
Yeah.
So it's a game jam there, but obviously it's a board game. And I'll have all my finalized rules and deadlines and whatnot. It's very low key. I want it to be very community driven.
Right.
But it's got to have some structure. So, but yeah, so this is something that I'm really excited to be doing. And I thought about you, and I thought about a naval game, and I was going to see if I could twist your arm to get you to design something.
Yeah, I might throw a couple of different things at it.
Yeah, like I said, if you get started, reach out. I'll do what I can to help.
Cool.
Yep. And then, of course, anybody in chat, if you want a hand at it. If you go on to Twitter and find my, it's just Hissy Cat Studio on Twitter, you'll see my feed. It's got a link to the and you can go sign up. And it's free. And like you said, one lucky contestant, not myself, will get a game makeover by Niels Johansson. So
very cool.
That's badass.
Yeah, I plan on. I've looked. You can print like 500 copies for like $60, $50. And I'm going to do videos of all the games, all the entrants, and do an interview of all the developers and put that on my channel. So keep an eye out for that stuff as well. So again, but if you get interested and you want to do it, you've got till the end of March to get an entry in. So I have plenty of time.
There you go. Yeah. No, what?
That's going to be in direct
That's
competition
okay.
Keep it down, girls.
with oh Jesus, the
Come
analog
on.
hobbies painting challenge. But that seems super worth it.
Well, if you're a game designer and this is a challenge, I've got a couple of published game designers that are biting at the bit that are going to get involved, which is kind of cool because it's a interesting challenge to try to fit a design onto a postcard.
Joke's on you guys. My brain can only handle the amount of rules you can fit on a postcard. I'm ideally equipped.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And we have a market. We have a market.
Joke's on you guys. I'm an idiot. All right. That's
I would
Awesome.
not say that you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're one of the smartest people I know there,
all
Mr.
right.
McMurray.
Calm down. Need to take about 20% off there, Mr. Chris.
What's sad, E4?
What's up?
No, E4 says sort of sad
Oh.
though, and I'm not sure.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
D and Biggin, Chris.
Yeah, warm
Thank
metal fan. There we go. I can always count on Warm Mutt to help me out and boost the old self-esteem.
Must
Right.
have run out of Chihuahuas in Arizona.
He ran out of what?
Chihuahuas in Arizona.
Oh,
he got on-
Chihuahuas, yeah.
So he got on chat with us.
Movie Clear Winter's Night.
Oh, okay.
I'm unfamiliar.
Good movie. Good movie.
Yeah, I don't know either. Sorry.
Oh man, I'm so ready for vacation.
You're so ready for vacation?
Wait,
Yeah.
we're ready for vacation tomorrow? Are you not on vacation now?
I'm ready for vacation every morning I get up.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, do your
I'm ready
mini
for
vacations-
retirement.
Do your mini vacations you take every day?
3 of them,
Yeah.
my naps. Nah, that's not enough. I need more. You know, a lot of people will like take vacation and then they're kind of like they're ready to go back to work. Yeah, I'm not. Easiest and best job in the county, and I fucking hate it most of the time.
That's rough, buddy. That's real rough.
I think it's because I'm not doing anything creative right now, and it's killing me.
Oh yeah, that would just suck my soul, and not in a good way.
Right. So yeah, Charles is retired. He needs a vacation. I'm ready for retirement. I'm only 52, but I'm ready to retire. Just let's make that happen.
I could have retired like 7 or 8 years ago, but I need that Medicare, man. So I got to go another, I think, 3 years at least.
There you go. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do, man.
Oh yeah. So, what? And this is gonna be probably mostly for McMurray, maybe Wardrobe.
What's up?
Because I know Jeff is not gonna have will not have a dog in this fight. Best game, and I'm not gonna narrow it down to a single combat or a single battle, because for whatever reason it just doesn't seem like there's as many titles for games in the Pacific as there are for games in Europe and the East Front. But what is your favorite? Well, first off, favorite naval rule set for Pacific, and then what's favorite ground game in the
It's
Pacific?
like World War II Pacific?
Yeah, we'll start with World War II.
Miniatures or otherwise?
It doesn't matter.
So I have not had a chance to play it extensively, but David Manley's Broadside and Salvo for pre-Dreadnought and early transition, pretty outstanding. That's miniatures, obviously. Again, absolutely outstanding. In terms of Pacific ground combat,
And that could be like a landing at Tarawa or Iwo Jima or anything like that.
You're really hard pressed to get me to give a shit. I just don't necessarily find the Pacific as interesting. I feel like it's hard to simulate on a tabletop. That being said, I take that back. I've got some Boxer Rebellion stuff. That's pretty fun.
All right.
I've played around a lot with Coronel as well. So early World War One, like still late summer, early fall, depending on your view of it, between the German East Asian Squadron and some British armor cruisers. Well, light cruisers, but that's pretty cool. I was about to say, when you mentioned a postcard game, my first thought was Battle of Cornell.
Okay, I haven't seen that one, but okay.
No, I mean it's an engagement that again.
Might fit on one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then using maybe the again that victory at sea mechanic that you see or war in the Atlantic mechanic that you see in Victory in the Pacific and Nine Nations Navy and Sovereign of the Seas.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but outside of the early part of the war in Europe, there wasn't really any naval battles. I mean, chasing down the Bismarck, yeah, but that's not a battle.
Oh, okay. So
you know what I mean? So, I mean, other than the submarines sinking ships and doing all that, there wasn't a lot of naval conflict, was there?
Yeah. So in World War II, especially, absolutely not.
Okay.
Especially in Europe, you had isolated incidents, but it's far more. They're all far more reminiscent of Napoleonic era day-to-day, so to speak, combat, where you've got one or two ships coming up against one or two ships, or you've got, one ship getting caught by itself against the squadron, which is what you see a lot more of with the Germans, whether that's River Plate or North Cape or anything like that. I think the largest, I was actually thinking about this a couple of days ago, I think the largest sailing per se that the Germans ever did, that the Nazis ever did in World War II, if you were to think of the largest single outing of capital ships going out, was honestly, as embarrassing as that is, probably the Channel Dash with Scharnhorst and Eisenhower and Admiral, one of the Hippers. I don't remember which one. Okay. I think it's actually Prinz Eugen.
Yeah, the Operation Cerberus.
Yes, where you have two battleships and a heavy cruiser rolling out, because other than that, you don't get.
And aircraft carriers didn't play any role in Europe, did they?
They did to a certain extent, but not
escort carriers.
Well, what about the U.S. Navy?
Yeah? There weren't Axis aircraft carriers, so they certainly played a vastly different role than they did in the Pacific, because you had combat air patrol, but you didn't there was no carrier on carrier warfare. Like British carriers in the Mediterranean hit Italian fleets. And then Tirpitz was harassed by carrier-based aircraft.
Okay.
Bismarck was obviously dropped by carrier-based aircraft, or it was crippled by carrier-based aircraft by Swordfish off of Ark Royal. But yeah, you certainly did. The Axis just didn't have aircraft carriers. And hell, the Italians didn't have a fleet air arm or virtually any communication between the Regia Marina and their Air Force. Whereas so there's not many. There certainly was nothing even approaching a Jutland sort of scenario. There wasn't a Jutland sort of scenario in World War II, period. But Chris, maybe you can correct me, even in the Pacific, I couldn't think of a scenario where you had even as many dreadnoughts on the field as the Germans brought to Jutland.
Now the only time you get close to having large numbers of battle wagons versus battle wagons. It's the Battle of Surgas Strait. That
but
was
you still only have one Japanese dreadnought. You still only have Yamashiro.
yeah.
Like-
You had the Yamashiro against six American battleships that were raised from Pearl Harbor and said, "We're back, motherfucker."
Yeah, eat it. But yeah, because I was trying to think of that, and that was what was giving me fits. Was I could get to 7 or 8 maybe, but
Yeah, but nothing like you saw with Battle of Jutland.
and even looking at like Dogger Bank or Heligoland Bight, you still have Dogger Bank for sure. You still have more than that, but. Where do we get? How do we get started on this Pacific stuff? I don't care about the Pacific Land War, Chris. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's fine. Not a problem.
And as we've talked about, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of carrier warfare because I really like the big guns, the battleships, and carrier warfare.
Oh, see, I love the whole aspect of carrier warfare. But again, my dad was in the Navy. I grew up around seeing those, and yeah, carriers to me are just like it.
They're certainly magnificent. I just don't find them as fun to game. But that's me. Todd?
Yeah.
I think Todd's going to like Naval Thunder for his rule set.
No, I don't know much about Pacific. Can't speak to it. Closest thing I have is ASL in the Pacific.
Do we have some of that? Yeah, we do. Don't we? Kit number 4, right?
Yep, kit number 4, and I have Rising Sun.
Yeah, I haven't picked up kit 4 yet.
Sweet. Gotta play some more of that too.
I do.
So, then okay.
Well, I'm a Pacific fan, so
You are?
I'm a huge Pacific fan. Yeah.
He just said he liked carriers, dog. He's got to be a Pacific fan.
Yeah, well, that, and I own 4 to 5 games on Tarawa alone.
Well, there you go.
Do you own those the CSS games from Compass? Tinian, Guam.
No, not yet. Not yet.
I find those interesting because I like the concept of being able to play some of those island fights. I just didn't want to get into that system, so I kind of backed off on that.
Well, so I do have Tarawa 1943 from Worthington Games. It's a very beginner-friendly solo game that's played with blocks. I've got the D-Day at Tarawa, which is a very complex solitaire system, which I haven't dove into yet. Then I got a couple of magazine games, some of the older ones, SPI game, an old one that's got Tarawa on it, and I've got one other. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I find that battle unique during all of World War II in that you have two nations fighting on a football field out in the middle of the ocean with no real support.
Yeah, it's wild. It is pretty crazy.
And it's a 3-day battle where 10,000 people are killed, or 6,000. It was extremely bloody, and it's such an interesting battle because, again, let's just go out in the middle of the ocean and find this little bitty strip of a part of an atoll that they might put an airstrip on, and let's make that important, and we're going to fight over 3 days.
Let's make it important. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it was. I'm not trying to downplay that, but what I mean is, when you think of other battles, they raging across Europe. No, this is literally on a 3-mile long, few hundred yard, and I'm shrinking it a little bit larger than that, but bump of sand out in the water, and it's just an intriguing conflict to me. That's why I own so many games. I want to find the one that's going to do it right, and whatever I envision right to be.
Well, people seem to really. Well, I don't know. Are people liking Pacific War? I think they are, but I don't know. Are they? The new one?
Yeah, it's big. The problem I have is it's big, and I got 2 cats. So by the time I get it set up, I've got counters spread, all across the Pacific in the front living room
I know how to solve for that.
without harming the cats.
Well, they won't get hurt. They'll find a new family that loves them.
No.
No. That's not even an option.
Oh,
That's why I have that's why I have my room that the cats aren't allowed in.
See?
You guys are wit.
Oh, look at the buddy.
She's 16.
Oh, so sweet kitty.
Yeah, she's not going anywhere.
I'm
Anyway,
right there with you, buddy. I'm right there with you.
I know. I've only got 2. You've got a dozen.
Yeah, Chris
Not
has
quite.
18 cats, which is the problem.
No, it's only 7.
Only 7. Okay.
And 2 of them are indoor-outdoor.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was going to say, that just means they're used to pissing everywhere.
What I heard Donna say about Chris.
Yeah.
Right.
Donna's like, I got one husband, but he's indoor-outdoor. I make him go to the bathroom outside.
He's an indoor-outdoor husband.
Yeah. He has to do the heavy stuff outside. He can only,
Uh,
On the back corner of the
back
backyard.
corner of the yard. Yeah, you gotta go in by the fence and just go
Sure.
easy, bro.
oh, great.
Then I start kicking my feet to cover it up and dirt
Yeah.
everywhere.
You guys didn't think you were gonna have nightmares when you got on here tonight. Little did you know.
Oh,
Oh,
actually, y'all brought up Channel Dash, and now I've already found a map. I've already got the 5x7 rectangle laid out.
Oh, are you about to use my
Right.
scenario that we played Ocean Thunder with, you little turd?
No.
Oh,
No.
I was about to say you should, because that'd be pretty fun. But okay, that's fine.
I mean, I'm going to go with the 2 battle. I'm just going to do the 2 battleships and the heavy cruisers. I'm not going to worry about. Well, what I might do is the destroyers. Destroyers will probably end up being a
I'm out.
single unit. See you, buddy.
What?
Take care.
I'm gonna go play some TCS before I pass out.
Jeff,
Bye.
come on. Just because we start talking about tropes.
See ya. Bye.
Jeff is the most hydrophobic person I've ever met.
Yeah. You would think he's got rabies with how much he hates water.
Yeah.
wow.
As he puts it, he doesn't play ships or airplanes unless it's for close support.
Correct.
I see. I play almost everything, and am happy to do it. I don't put limitations on myself.
I'm very much, going out past my
Interesting.
what's the word I'm looking for? My comfort zone with the U.S. Civil War,
Uh-huh.
because I know next to nothing about the Civil War.
Oh, me. I'm in the same boat as you.
That's why you have stupid friends like Jeff and I. I mean,
Right, exactly.
I know nothing about the Civil War, yet I'm designing a Pickett's Charge game. There you go.
Well, running straight across the field into artillery and concentrated rifle fire doesn't take too much brains. In fact, the less brains you've got, the better off you probably are.
I know, but point being is, you think that would be something really simple, but as I'm digging into it, I'm learning more about it. I'm like, oh my God, there's nothing simple about history.
It's not. No, everything's ridiculous, to be honest with you.
Charles, I've got cats, and I also have 2 grandkids.
2.
Buddy. Yeah, I was about to say, Chris has a football team full of kids.
Them's rookie numbers. You gotta bump that shit up. I got 9.
It's not on me to do.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I mean, I guess I could go out.
That seems
the
highly
turnaround on that product is a little slow. I mean, I guess I could start a whole nother set of kids, but I'll be dead before those grandkids show up.
You're like I did.
Buy into it, marry into it.
Yeah, I bought into the whole family thing. I have no children of my own. None. Because my first wife, if we had children, they'd have hooves.
What's really interesting is that you were banging somewhere that halfway between you and her still had hooves. That's what you should be terrified of.
Yeah, well, because she's a demon.
I'm aware. I got that part.
Well,
So you don't have kids that you know of. Is what you're saying.
oh no, I don't have kids of my own.
You don't know
No.
that. You don't know that.
I paid for her to be fixed.
As far as you know. I'm going to plant the seed of doubt.
There is no doubt.
So someday when somebody shows up and says, Daddy Chris.
But the problem is Chris could, he never could plant a seed.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a whole different problem.
So,
Hey, we're doing a 13.5 to 3 here, guys. So an 8's going to give me a D1. All right, cool.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking at maybe doing a channel dash thing. I was also thinking about. I was looking up maps of Iceland, because I was thinking about the whole traversing, doing a whole game of the cat and mouse. You've read Red Storm Rising, I suspect.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, many moons ago.
Okay. The whole 3 Marines, the Air Force lieutenant, and the local girl hiding from the Soviets.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think I've seen that
no.
movie
I
on
was
the
thinking, you
internet.
know what? You said Red Storm Rising, and for some reason I put Red October in my brain.
Oh, okay. No, that'd be another good game to play.
It would be.
Figure out. But with Red Storm Rising, it's you have to get from point A to point B without being spotted by the Soviets.
Okay. That would totally work on postcard game.
Yep.
You can totally make that.
Yep. And then just have a that one grouping of 5 people is a single counter, and then you've got Soviet helicopters and tanks and infantry searching for these.
Or you could make them individual counters, and so individually they could get picked off.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't. I don't know how the movie goes, but I mean, if it was us 4 and Jeff, we'd probably do something to get Jeff picked off first, right?
Well, yeah.
Or Brian.
Or Brian. Yeah. Or Brian.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, there's tacos over there.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Now we're just getting mean, man.
That could be a fun little 5-player postcard game.
Maybe
Yeah.
the Diet Beatdown could be a postcard.
Only one of you survives as the winner, and you have to somehow betray the other 4, but not yourself get caught by the Russians. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be.
Escaping the goulash.
Wait, the Russians or the Hungarians?
Gulag,
Creative
goulash,
license, my friend.
whatever it
Creative
takes.
license. Yeah.
Fair.
Whatever it takes. Shit, you could probably do a game based on The Great Escape.
Very likely could. I think Diet Beatdown is still a good option here, Jeff or Todd. I need your help here.
Well, I'm sure what's going to happen is I'm going to design this game, and I'm going to get the bug, and I'll have at some point a whole gaggle of postcard games I've designed. So
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
Well, we have gone well over 2 hours. We still got 8 viewers.
Oh, sweet.
So everybody that's watching, appreciate y'all hanging around, listening to us just be idiots. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Busy Cat, thanks for joining.
Yeah, always. It's been fun.
And we'll I'm sure we'll just start having you come on the regular.
I would do that. I would appreciate it.
Good. Todd, how you doing over there with whatever that is the hell you're playing?
Well, we got the little crazy Soviets are starting to push back here a little bit, but the Germans have kind of solidified a little bit more this way. But this is bad. This is
there's not a lot of grayish, blackish, brownish over there. There's a lot of red over there.
These guys are starting to move up, but it's going to take a while for them to get up here. And these guys are going to come up here and disrupt their. I already lost a step of armor due to supply.
Yeah,
The Germans did. But they do have this little bulge here, little cute little thing here. But they're, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
What, Warmont?
It's gonna be tough to get 60 points by the end of this next turn. In fact, I just don't even see how it's possible. So I'm like, this is quite the line here. Anywho, I'm having fun with it.
No, I'm sure Hissy is good enough at exposing. We don't need anybody exposing him.
Well, Mini
that was
Warmont,
last episode.
Mini Warmont, we needed someone to take your place. I mean, you're just too busy eating tacos and chasing
ice cream and
stuff. I mean, I'll miss you, but can I have your stapler?
Nice. All right, guys. Well, once again, everybody, thanks for dropping in. E4, Charles, Reese, of course.
Paulie, good to see you.
John was out there. 18.6 XYZ.
Told Micus.
Yep. Crossing Obstacle Gaming was on here. Scala Gremlin, who we now know lives up in Seattle. Who else? Chris Long A. So yeah, everybody, thanks for dropping in. Take care of yourselves. And next week is definitely Thursday. I thought it was this week, but it wasn't. Next week is definitely Thursday. Got to go watch the niece and nephew sing for Christmas. So
okay, I was thinking you guys are trying to avoid me. It'd be nice. Yeah, come on. It's going to be Thursday night, and then
No.
Wednesday night.
Not at all. So
obviously not. But
all right, guys. Until next time, we will see you on the flip side.